Hello and welcome to Navani Lore and Theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at what will happen to the 3 elven girls that were freed from Erya Uzruth, now that their homeland is gone. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Now, the 3 elves were once ordinary villagers in their home country, and then abducted by the theocracy of Slain and sold to Erya Uzruth, only to be freed after Hamske had slain their owner. And then Einst Olgon took the elves in, since they did not want to come into the Grey Tomb and since they did not progress any further. So they were allowed to work as maids for Aura and Mare. And the 3 elves found a new life on the 6th floor of the Great Tomb of Nezarec to be significantly better than their old, dangerous life in the Great Forest of Ivasha, where the Elf Kingdom is located, because the forest was extremely dangerous. Although the elves lived hidden in special trees that they grew and defended themselves, receiving shelter and protection from the eyes of the enemies in return, in a symbiotic relationship, and even with this advantage of not having to live on the ground and being hidden inside the trees, protected by stalwart hunters. Not a year went by without at least one villager falling victim to the forest and its many threats. Therefore, the 3 elves had no interest in returning to their old home and leaving the Great Tomb of Nezarec behind. Not only was the work with Aura and Mare relatively simple, but they also considered them to be a prince and a princess, although it took them a while to recognize who's who. And the food in Nezarec was significantly better too. Desserts, regular meals without having to hunt, and the entire environment was far better, and of course far safer, for the 3 elves than their old village could ever have been. But precisely because life in Nezarec was so good, Einst Olgon wanted them to return to their old homeland, to tell the other elves about the great life in Nezarec. This way, Einst wanted to build a positive relationship with the Elven Kingdom from the very ground up. However, after Einst Olgon had attacked and nearly defeated the Elven King, and after the theocracy had taken the Elven capital, and now is extending its influence over more and more of the forest, Einst had to reconsider his strategy. And this invasion and the destruction of the Elven Kingdom, at least from the elves' perspective, appeared to be the act of a hostile aggressor from the very outside. They did not know what the former Elven King had done to the strongest godkin of the theocracy 100 years ago, and that he was behind this war. I mean, there was no newspaper, radio or internet, and communication, even with neighboring villages, was limited to occasional visits by hunters and rangers, and even this was far from safe. But now that the theocracy had taken the capital and is extending its influence over the villages more and more, Einst Olgon had a unique opportunity to use the situation to his own advantage. Parallel to the events in the Great Forest of Ivasha, Einst Olgon had mobilized the troops of Nezarec and was preparing to invade the theocracy of Slain with full force and to eradicate it, as they were behind the attack on Sheltir Bloodfallen. This promised not only a lot of loot from Yggdrasil Online, but also a new world item for Einst Olgon. However, this war of annihilation against Slain could also be a liberation strike for the elves, as their kingdom is currently being eradicated by Slain. The captured elves were eliminated if they were unable to work, and if not, they were degraded to mere forced labor, exploited mercilessly for the upcoming war against Nezarec. In such a situation, where the living are seen as the villains and the monstrous undead are their saviors, another scenario like that which happened at Karen village might unfold. In Karen, the theocracy disguised as the Knights of Baharut had almost completed a massacre before Ain Sol Gon intervened. As a result, the villagers of Khan now loved Ainz, the undead overlord, and despised their own kingdom, which was incapable of protecting them, but actually tried to eradicate them as well, until its very end. In other words, Ain Sol Gon, despite being an undead overlord, gained the villagers' actual support. And with this strategy, which of course Demiurge will claim that Ainz had prepared all the way back in Season 1 and the very first book, Ainz could now bring the entire Elven Kingdom to his side. His undead would eradicate the troops of Slain, and while they were at it, they could also cleanse the Forest of Ivasha of monsters and other dangers, just as they had done in the Forest of Top. This would allow the elves to finally roam the forest in peace for the first time in elven memory. And who better to lead this new elven kingdom than the 3 elves Ainz set free from Erya Uzruth? I mean, all they really would have to do is follow the instructions of Demiurge and especially of Albedo. And with the wise king of the Forest of Top as their guardian angel, the 3 elves could also gain additional legitimacy, giving Hamuske something to do for once. So, just as Queen Kalka Bezaris was supported by the Custodio sisters while reigning, one of the 3 elves could now rule as queen, with the other 2 helping and supporting her. Similar to revolutionary France before Napoleon decided to streamline the state apparatus and reduce the bureaucracy by simply abolishing the other 2 leadership positions and taking sole control as self-crowned emperor. Or the Elven Kingdom could be divided into 3 smaller realms that cooperate, similar to the 3 northern kingdoms in Mushoku Tensei. This would have the pleasant side effect that if one Elven Kingdom rebelled, or behaved like its last king, there would still be 2 loyal realms to overthrow the rebellion, without Nezarec being forced to attack the rebels directly, which could damage the Sorcerer King's reputation among the elven citizens, if they see that the Death Knights and the other undead would make a massacre and an example of this one elven nation. But with the 2 other elven nations still existing, it would likely just be seen as the benevolent Ain Sol Gon lending aid in the form of additional undead troops in order to quell a devious rebellion against the good and just order. And that is it for today. And now it's your turn. What do you think about the topic, and do you believe that the 3 elves will end up ruling the Elven Kingdom? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Arder Daddy Arder, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Ferachivan, Guy with That Hat, Hector Moreno, Hoss, Hustar, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, oh hell no, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Rhinomere, Cune Karakos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Zinukai, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.